Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down something super important, but honestly, a little misunderstood. Total and permanent disability insurance. You'll hear it called TPD. Let's get right into what it is and why it just might be something you need to know about.
So let's just start with a really tough question. Seriously, take a second and think about this. What if something happened, an illness, an accident, and you just couldn't work anymore? Not for a few months, but forever. For most of us, our ability to get up and earn a living is our biggest asset by far. So what happens when that's gone? Well, here's the reality. Your income would stop just like that. But the mortgage, the car payments, the grocery bills, putting food on the table for your kids, none of that stops. It's a huge financial hit that can completely upend everything you've planned for. And that's exactly the problem TPD insurance was designed to solve.
So what is the financial safety net that can catch you in a situation like that? Well, this is where TPD insurance really steps into the spotlight. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what it actually is. Okay, so here's the big idea. TPD insurance is not a monthly paycheck. Instead, it's a one-time, tax-free lump sum payment. A big chunk of money that you get if you're permanently disabled and you simply can't go back to work. You can think of it as this major cash injection to help you reset your life, maybe pay off the house, get rid of all your debts, or just fund your new day-to-day reality without a job. Now, this is absolutely critical, and it's where a lot of people get tripped up. Not all TPD policies are created equal. The most important difference is the definition of disabled. Own occupation is the best one, but it costs more. It means if you can't do your specific job anymore, you're covered. Think of a surgeon who injures their hand. They can't operate, so they get paid, even if they could go become a professor. Any occupation is much tougher to claim on. It only pays if you can't do any job that you're reasonably suited for. It's a huge difference. Okay, so now that we know what it is, the key definitions to look out for, how do you actually get it? Well, there are basically three main ways to get this coverage, and each one kind of fits a different situation. So your three main paths are buying it all on its own as a standalone policy, bundling it together with your life insurance, or in some cases, holding it inside other accounts. And as we're about to see, each of these options has some pretty significant pros and cons you need to be aware of. All right, this chart breaks it down perfectly. A standalone policy gives you the most control, but yeah, it can be a bit more expensive. Now, bundling it is usually cheaper, which is great, but here's the catch, and it's a big one. If you make a TPD claim, it almost always reduces the payout your family would get from your life insurance. So you're kind of taking from your family's future to protect yourself now. And the third option, inside other accounts, might have some tax benefits, but the rules can be really tricky, and it might take longer to get your hands on the money. So now we get to the million-dollar question, right? Is this something you should actually be thinking about? Let's run through a quick checklist. If you look at this list and see yourself, then TPD insurance is definitely something to consider. If you're the main income earner for your family, if you're self-employed and don't have benefits from a big company, if you've got a mortgage hanging over your head, or if you have kids who depend on you, this coverage is designed to protect that stability you work so hard to provide. But let's be real. This isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It's not for everybody. So let's flip the coin and look at who might not need it. If you fall into one of these buckets, your financial risks are just different. For retirees, you're not protecting an income anymore, so something like long-term care insurance might be a better fit. And hey, if you already have a fantastic long-term disability policy, or you don't have any major debts or dependents, the need for that big lump sum payout is a lot lower. And that brings us to a really important point. TPD insurance doesn't live on an island. You really have to think of it as one layer in a larger financial shield you're building to protect yourself and your family. Let's look at how all these pieces fit together. Think of it like this. Long-term disability is for your monthly bills. It's your paycheck replacement. TPD is for the giant one-off expenses. It's for wiping out the mortgage. Then you have something like critical illness insurance, which pays you for a specific diagnosis, like cancer, even if you recover and go back to work. They all do different jobs, but they work together. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? TPD fills a vital role. It's not for when you break your leg and are out of work for 6 weeks. This is for the truly permanent, life-changing stuff that requires a complete financial reset. Look, trying to figure out all these definitions and options, own occupation, bundling, standalone, it can feel like you're trying to solve a puzzle. And it's totally normal if it feels a little confusing. The good news is, you absolutely do not have to figure this all out by yourself.
If you're curious and just want to see what your options might look like, our team here at The Annuity Expert is happy to help. Our consultations are always free, and there's zero obligation. You can talk to a licensed professional and get your questions answered by calling us at 770-755-1565. Or you can always check out our website for a ton more info and resources. Thanks so much for watching. We really hope this explainer has given you a clearer picture of your options and helps you feel more empowered to build a secure financial future.